zaidi ambazo ni hasi kuliko faida. Je, ni kweli?
Zimechangia kudanganyifua mtihani hasa katika shule za msingi, upili na vyuo vikuu tangu simu hizi ziingie humu nchini.
Zimewezesha na kufanya ulimwengu kote kukua kama kijiji kimoja.
Nazo nyimbo mbalimbali.
Aina za nyimbo ya kwanza ni kama kuna nyimbo za bembelezi.
Kuna nyimbo ya mapenzi. Ambapo kila mtu anapata nafasi ya kutoa hisia yake kwa mwenzake.
Welcome to KBC's Lunchtime News on this, the second last day of the month of November before we usher in the last month, which is December. Welcome to our broadcast. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 2. The sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Brian Muraru. We start from one of our neighboring countries where President William Ruto is in Arusha, Tanzania to attend the 24th Ordinary Summit of the East African Heads of State. The summit brings together regional leaders to address key challenges facing the East African community and discuss strategies to accelerate economic integration, strengthen the region's resilience to climate change, and address insecurity. The president will advocate for the removal of trade barriers, the boosting of cross-border commerce, and the enhancement of partnership in energy, agriculture, and digital innovation to create jobs and improve livelihoods. Leaders will also discuss measures to promote peace and security, including combating transnational crime, managing borders, and resolving conflict. And in other news, a family in Mirera Estate, Naivasha Town, Nakuru County, is demanding justice following the brutal murder of their 15-year-old daughter, that is Valeria Njeri, 5 years ago. The late girl's father, John Ndunu, says he is concerned by the pace of the legal process. John says in November 2019, the family woke up to find the lifeless body of their 15-year-old daughter lying in a pool of blood outside their family's home in Mirera Estate with multiple stab wounds. According to John, his daughter's crime was to reject the suspect's sexual advances. The suspect, a 16-year-old boy, was arrested and later released. He made the reflections during a memorial service of their daughter at the family home in Nakuru County.
Imeahirishwa for 3 times. For now hata hatujui tarehe. Mimi naomba tu haki ya huyo mtoto tutendewe.
Jaji mkuu na wala jaji wengine watusaidie, FIDA watusaidie. Unajua kesi kama hii ingeweza kuamuliwa mapema, hata ingezuia mambo mengi yale ambayo yanatendeka katika nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Activists are now raising concerns that the boy child is being neglected at the expense of the girl child. Speaking to a workshop, participants sponsored by the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, at Getembe Church of God in Kisii, the activists called for an equal focus on both genders and resolved to launch a sensitization campaign to advocate for equal treatment in the society.
Kwa hakika kwa muda mrefu watoto wavulana wametengwa sana tukiwa tunatetea watoto wasichana. Lakini ilikuwa ni kosa kwa sababu mtoto mvulana ameachwa. Sasa tunajaribu kuhakikisha kwamba mtoto mvulana vile vile anatetewa kwa dhulma yoyote na katika hali yoyote ya maendeleo wao wamepata sawa na watoto wasichana.
Tumezungumzia tukasema kwamba pia mtoto wa kiume anastahili kwamba ashughulikiwe na yeye vile vile mtoto msichana anavyoshughulikiwa.
So as we move from this place, we are going to make various forums where we are going to educate our young men and women on how to do things together and to work together as a team.
Now, as the world observes 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the National Council of Churches of Kenya has convened a male engagement forum in Embu County to bring attention to cases of men experiencing GBV. NCCK Embu County Chair Bishop Stephen Njogu says the three-day forum will seek answers to why male cases receive less attention and how to turn around societal judgments. Bishop Njogu said they plan to organize outreach programs to establish strong communication systems towards reporting and alleviating GBV cases.
Wanaume wamepigwa, wamenyamaza sana, wengine wamekaa huko ndani hawaongei, na tulikuwa tunasema ya kwamba so many of the times wanaume wanakufia ndani kama thamos. So tumesema now it was an engagement, wanaume waanze kuongea, because these 16 days that we are having, because this is our third day today, we need to get involved in whatever we are doing. From here we are going to do some messages. Tutaenda kwa makanisa, we will do trainings and civic education on how to go about it. Hata tutaenda kwa vijiji tuchukue the reports zile ziko huko, tujue what is happening.
Public primary schools across Kenya are grappling with significant challenges as grade 8 students prepare to transition to grade 9 in January 2025. Speaking at Nakuru Primary School in Advocacy South constituency during the handover of classroom built by the National Government Constituency Development Fund, the Parent-Teacher Association Chairman Peter Kirui urged the government to provide additional classrooms, laboratories and clear transition guidelines to ensure all learners proceed without disruption.
Hii shule yetu tuko na population kubwa, tuko na grade 8, wale wanaingia grade 9 ni wanafunzi 400. So now we need 2 more classes. Ikiwezekana tuchengewe classes hapo juu, hiyo ghorofa iendelee, tuongezewe classes 2 na fiti vile tu imetengenezwa.
Now, the State Department for Lands and Physical Planning has had the highest number of transactions on the eCitizen platform for the last year since President William Ruto ordered all payments for the government to be transacted on the online platform. It recorded more than 700,000 transactions since it started onboarding its services on the platform, earning it the first position for the all-time transaction State Department category. The awards ceremony, where several other government agencies were recognized, was held at the KICC as the country celebrated the first anniversary of eCitizen following the President's directive on full digitization of government services and the relaunch of the platform. Now to our weekly feature, where Kisumu is rapidly emerging as a premier destination for conference tourism in Kenya. As the country's third largest city, Kisumu boasts of a unique blend of natural beauty and modern facilities, making it an ideal locale for those seeking a productive work holiday. Today on Magical Scenes, we feature Kisumu and her share of conference tourism.
Nestled along the shores of the stunning Lake Victoria Kisumu has seen a surge in investments aimed at enhancing its conference tourism infrastructure. With state-of-art conference centers, luxurious hotels, and a range of recreational activities, the city is well equipped to host both local and international conferences, workshops, and corporate retreats. Milimani area in Kisumu is among the diverse neighborhoods, standing out as a beacon of elegance and tranquility, suitable for a work holiday. The location's peaceful ambience makes it an ideal setting for meetings, allowing attendees to focus and rejuvenate away from the busy city life. Facilities here provide world-class accommodation, complete with stunning views of the lake. Nevertheless, Milimani is not just about modernity. It also boasts of a rich cultural heritage. The community in Milimani is known for its hospitality, making the destination a welcoming place for newcomers and tourists. As Kisumu continues to develop its conference tourism sector, the future looks bright.
The weather here is, being Kisumu, is generally hot. But basically, because of the vegetation around here, we have a lot of trees and all this, so it neutralizes. So the weather is always mostly calm. And when it drizzles like this, it looks so calm and so nice. And as you mentioned, for the festive period, we are geared for it because we have got a number of things we are doing on 24th, 25th, and then 31st and 1st.
We look at the destinations around Kisumu, which can actually connect you to other areas like Kakamega, whereby you can be able to access the Kakamega forest. We have on our way, you use the boat rides to Mbita. And the fact that Kisumu also is a tropical town and it's affordable.
Whether you're planning a team-building retreat or simply looking to combine work with leisure, Kisumu is seemingly promising of unforgettable memories. Mchuma Odim, Magical Sense in the county of Kisumu.
Moving on, Parliament is seeking to pass a law that will cushion legislators against paying back gratuity monies when they are re-elected for a second term, as this grants them pension benefits. Currently, MPs serving one term or lose in the subsequent re-election bid are entitled to at least a 31% rate gratuity. However, if they manage to secure a re-election for a second term, they are expected to pay back the gratuity for them to be pensionable. The bill seeks to give members an option to choose to be paid either gratuity or pension, with those who opting for gratuity to note be forced to be paying back the previously earned gratuity.
In case you are elected term 2, this bill now will open the door for you to choose whether you want to go gratuity or pension. Because once you choose you want to go gratuity, then there will be no need to pay back the one you had been paid. You will serve another term and you will earn your gratuity again. So you'll have earned two times your gratuity. Currently, it's automatic. When you come a second term, you have no choice but to pay back the gratuity so that you become pensionable.
This gratuity is very enticing, Honorable Speaker, but those who have left this house will tell you, within a few months, because you choose to continue living the way you are living as a member of parliament, within a few weeks, it is gone. And those members are left very desolate. Now we have an opportunity.
Now, this afternoon's episode of Cinema and Theatre, we take a look at a play dubbed Repeat After Me that fights societal stigma surrounding mental illness and fosters empathy for those who feel marginalized and misunderstood. The play delves into the complexities of mental health conditions following the lives of Zueni and Obam, two young individuals grappling with dissociative identity disorder. and respectively.
Repeat After Me, a captivating play with its raw and honest portrayal of mental health struggles. Delves into the lives of Zuweni.
Do this! Get into this battle of self-love and self-pity. You shut yourself off, you shut me out, you shut everyone else down, and then finally, when you get back to yourself, you put the blame on me like you are right now, Obama.
A young woman with dissociative identity disorder.
And so you think lying to me will make things better?
No one say the lying.
And Obama, a young man living with schizoaffective disorder.
Because it's not real to you doesn't mean it's not to me.
You know, I don't know what you want me to say.
I just want the truth. I want the truth from you, and when I ask you, when did you see what I saw?
The play follows their journey as they navigate the complexities of their relationship.
What do you want from me?
Hey, just breathe.
Both past and present.
It's a sickness that I thought I finally learned to control, and I was wrong, and I hate that I was wrong.
A shared dream, a haunting memory, and a disturbing wedding day incident.
You lied to me at the altar, just when I thought I would spend the rest of my life with you. People saw me lose my mind in that tuxedo, and you went ahead and told me that there was no one else in that church apart from me.
Intertwined to reveal the depths of their mental health conditions.
Look at me. Why am I here? All I am is a schizophrenic psycho who sees a boy in World War I uniform every 2 minutes.
Talked about this about.
Sweetie, this is not how I want my life to run.
Through powerful performances and insightful dialogue.
I can't live like this.
You see that boy? You see that boy? He lost everything in that war.
Repeat After Me vividly paints the picture of the stigmatization faced by individuals.
It's so beautiful you can't even comprehend it. Don't you hear it?
No, not.
And then the singers start to sing.
With mental illness in contemporary African society.
The idea was to really speak about things that are not being spoken about enough, which is cliche because many directors will tell you that, but at least from where I stand, I can say that it was intentional, and I am happy with what we've achieved because we are telling a story, talking about things that are maybe misinterpreted or taken lightly, because we live at an age where, mental issue, unavuta mavitu, mental issue, to see, be prayed for, see something, or, there's a lot of misconception and myths going around that, and that's what we're trying to debunk.
He poured the gunpowder in his mouth and swallowed it like it was nothing. Then proceeded to crush the poor man's skull with his bare feet. That guy was just something else.
Mike Mwangi, the play director, says the play encourages empathy and understanding, inviting audiences to consider the experiences of those who often feel marginalized and misunderstood.
There is a lot of awareness in what we are trying to speak about. It has grown. People are coming out of the show having learned about schizoaffective disorder. They're coming out of the show having learned about dissociative identity disorder. They're coming out having been aware of the notion around self-acceptance, appreciation, and self-awareness. And that for me is a win-win.
Hey! Soda! Don't be stupid! Don't be stupid! Soda!
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Now, women rights defenders have called on the government and development partners to strengthen safety mechanisms for the women defenders facing violence during crisis. While commemorating International Women Human Rights Defenders Day, the women in a report revealed that a higher percentage of women defenders have had their livelihoods disrupted due to climate change crisis and gender-based violence. They underscored the need for targeted interventions to ensure their resilience in continued advocacy for women's rights in the wake of increased causes of gender-based violence experienced in the country.
Places where insecurity is rampant and putting proper measures in it. If, for example, we have a police station and so many cases have been reported in that region, like a woman comes or a man comes and reports have been violated, an action needs to be taken to find out why is it in our police station.
It is very important to change the mindsets of individual, the way people see women as. Their perspectives towards women must be changed.
Now, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, in partnership with the private sector, has launched an initiative targeting to create jobs for youth along the agricultural value chain. Players in the sector noted that over 500,000 jobs will be created through the initiative annually, even as the recruitment process targeting 10,000 youths is currently ongoing in different counties.
The 5-year program, dubbed Transforming Ecosystems in Africa Tough for Jobs Creation through Technology and Innovation, aims to tackle critical challenges in food security, youth unemployment, nutrition security and climate-smart agriculture by integrating cutting-edge technology and innovation in agriculture. With a special focus on youth, women and smallholder farmers, the project aims to create 500,000 jobs annually. Dr. Andrew Karanja, the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, said that there is a need to integrate climate-smart agriculture and water management to build resilience while ensuring that agriculture remains economically viable and environmentally sustainable.
My ministry works tirelessly to ensure interministerial collaboration, leveraging synergies with partners to create an enabling environment for agricultural innovation and sustainability. This effort positions Kenya as a leader in global food security, presenting Tejati as a model for other nations, and water management into every school ecosystem. We are building resilience against climate change. This approach ensures that our agricultural practices remain both economically viable and environmentally sustainable, benefiting current and future generations.
The PS for the State Department for Agriculture, Dr. Kiprono Rono, noted that many jobs will be created along the value chain, adding that the jobs will target a diverse sector of youth in different specializations.
We are employing close to 10,000 youth across the country to support agriculture. Youth which are good in technology are also able to get platform to market the agricultural produce. Youth which are engineers, like agricultural engineers, have also jobs to support farmers at the farm level.
This initiative not only seeks to ensure food security, but to create 500,000 jobs annually.
Dr. Rebi Harawa, director at the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, noted that Kenya is 86% arid and semi-arid. Hence, there is a need for the private sector to provide innovative solutions for adaptation.
And there is no better place for us to create the jobs for youth than agriculture. As ICRISAT, we are supporting this initiative. Our work focuses on dry land agroecologies, and the country is 86% arid and semi-arid areas. We are promoting crops like sorghum, millets. There's a lot of opportunity with these crops. From value addition, there's commercialization of these crops.
The event was co-organized with the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Ministry of East Africa Community, ASILS and Regional Development, the International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, and other key partners. Even as the government rolls out initiatives targeting the youth and job creations, the youth are hopeful that these will target the majority. For KBC Channel 1, I am Teresa Mutai.
And that story by Teresa Mutai takes us to our first commercial break here on KBC's Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. We still have more for you on the other side.
Are you thinking about your future? Saving through a registered retirement benefits plan offers amazing benefits that make a difference when it matters most. A registered retirement benefits plan allows you to save up to 20,000 shillings every month tax-free. An investment income from a pension scheme is tax-exempt, meaning your money grows even faster, especially when you add the compound interest. Your retirement benefits provide a basic, reasonable income after your working life, preventing old age poverty and offering contingency funds in cases of ill health, death, or other disruptions. It acts as a safety net upon loss of employment, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, and offers financial protection to your dependents. Plus, it can cover post-retirement medical costs, one of the biggest expenses for retirees. Secure your future and enjoy your retirement to the fullest with a registered pension plan. Plan today for a brighter tomorrow. For more information, visit our website www.rda.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800-720-300 or email info@rda.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Are you looking for a brand-growing outdoor advertising with beautiful simplicity and an artistically inspired choice? Look no further. Our 40 years of credible reputation and experience will give you exceptional brand traction.
I'll always think of you inside of me, but
we are located at Corner Plaza, 4th floor on Parklands Road. TikTok. Get your brand on the talk with City Clock.
different.
I'm so excited. I've gotten a husband today.
Employment is seen as a pathway to entrepreneurship.
Youths with disability are a powerhouse. They have so much that they can offer when given an opportunity.
Differently able.
Still running this race called life because some of my friends who dated you are not around anymore.
Storia anxiety attacks.
Yes.
It's like it's very common among the creatives.
Very rampant. Just a survivor or somebody who's experienced these things, anxiety and depression, and by the grace of God, lived to tell about it. My dad went missing when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And so that has been an issue.
Just disappeared.
Just disappeared. You're like 8 siblings. Your breadwinner ameishia, firstborn ako form 2. You are the 7th child. I was barely starting school. Everything we had is reduced to ashes.
Wow.
We are internally displaced. Sasa tuko IDPs. Tunaletwa na military trucks to Nakuru.
And now welcome to the world of business. The World Bank has released 10 billion shillings for the BioVax Institute vaccine factory in Nairobi's industrial area. BioVax CEO Michael Lusoila says once operationalized, the factory will have the capacity to produce 30 million vaccine doses annually that prioritizes primary immunization.
anticipating by early next year, early 2025, we should have completed the civil engineering, the enabling works in preparation for the assembly and the installation of the machinery and the equipment for fill finish, supported by the funding from the World Bank.
$80 million for this infrastructure development for this biovacs will make sure that we not only for Kenya, but East and Central and Sub-Saharan Africa, we make a cold storage. And by that way, it will be income generation, because storage is money also. So that we want to two types of, one is the money outsourcing, another is inside money generation, resources generation to take ahead the way forward of manufacturing unit.
Elsewhere, the Africa Capacity Building Foundation, ACBF, has rolled out a program seeking to equip public sector workers who deal with managing public finance with the skills to drive sustainable development and achieve financial resilience. The leaders will be trained on good governance, technical knowledge with soft skills like integrity, adaptability, collaboration and visionary thinking, emphasizing the need for leaders to be well equipped to handle the intricate challenges of today's physical environment.
Management programs had focused on strengthening the capacity, technical capacities. How do you do your budgets? How do you manage your budgets? How do you develop taxation policies and the likes? But this is quite unique. It looks at how can we enhance the leadership capacities of the people that are making these decisions. They may have the technical skills, but then do they have the leadership skills that are required to effectively perform their roles within the various public sector institutions that they hold?
The curriculum encompasses self-leadership, that is self-leadership, also team dynamics, because we work in teams, organizational strategies, and a broad understanding of the PFM ecosystem.
The Warehouse Receipt System Council says it intends to cover more farm produce in its portfolio to minimize post-harvest losses. The council's Chief Executive Officer Lucy Komen says there is need to provide adequate working capital and cheap farm inputs to all small-scale farmers to protect them from losses and increase production.
The Warehouse Receipt System currently covers grains and coffee produce. Under the system, farmers are able to store their produce and receive a receipt that can be used to purchase farm inputs and access credit facilities. The council now says it's considering adding additional farm produce in its portfolio to protect farmers from post-harvest losses.
We are losing between 30 to 40% to post-harvest losses, and more for other perishables like potatoes. It is more than that. And so how can we save this, what we are losing?
As a measure to incorporate additional crops into the system, the council will start training farmers countrywide on proper handling of harvests and the receipts operations.
If we can be able to train the farmers, and that is why we have actually partnered with KENAF, so that we can train the farmers from after harvesting. How do you do the post-harvest?
Players in the agriculture value chain are calling for increased digitization of extension services to attract more youth into the agriculture sector.
Extension service workers are really needed in this country, and we are asking ourselves, how can young people, because this creates also another pathway to employment and wealth creation, how can they use ICT and data innovations?
We are trying to move away from offering direct extension service, and what we have done is to work with the young people who have graduated in agriculture background to be trained to work with farmers as agripreneurs.
Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Wheat farmers in Laikipia County have urged the county government to initiate reforms in the sector and help stabilize prices. The farmers who were speaking during a Cereals Growers Association meeting said their practice has become an expensive venture with low profit due to limited markets and fluctuating prices.
Kenya is a net importer of wheat, consuming about 900,000 tons per year, while producing only about 500,000 tons. However, farmers have been plagued by significant barriers, including infiltration of middlemen who set unfair pricing, cheap imports, and the braving harsh weather. Farmers in Laikipia County now want the government to initiate a series of reforms which will see an effective system where competitive prices are set.
Kuna ile agreement tulikuwa nayo na kupitia AFA ambayo ni organization ya serikali haijakuwa honored kwa sababu the agreement ilikuwa imestate kuwa grade 1 ya ngano inastahili kununuliwa na 5300. Kwa sasa hii ile ngano wanakuja kununua wananunua na 36.
They further want the government to actualize the completion of an aggregation center to help sell their produce with ease and enhance production.
Tu kidogo tumepata hata watu wa kununua hawakuji kununua, hata brokers wanasema wataki ngano, millers wanasema bado wamejaza ngano kwa news zao.
Mimi ningeomba serikali iache kukubali ngano kuimportiwa, sababu the minute imekuwa imported ngano zetu hakuna mahali zinaenda.
According to a report by the Agriculture and Food Authority of Kenya, wheat is the second most consumed cereal after maize. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
The government is planning to accelerate the scrapping of taxes on products made from locally sourced raw materials. Principal Secretary Investment Promotion Abubakar Hassan says the government is seeking to expedite the passage of a business laws amendment bill that will, among other incentives, offer tax reliefs to de-risk private investment.
Private sector players attending the Africa Special Economic Zone's annual meeting are advocating for formulation of policies that will establish and expand special economic zones across the continent to boost intra-African trade.
So we are saying if you have taken the raw material to produce what you want comes from Kenya and then you want to sell back to Kenya, then we are going to sell it tax-free, so that you can enhance your market access to Kenya. So enhance market access to Africa, East African region, and to Kenya.
According to Investment Promotion PS Abubakar Hassan, the proposed incentives for the special economic zones under the Draft Business Laws Amendment Bill of 2024 will make it affordable for investors to set up shop in Kenya amid competition from other African special economic zones.
So we are encouraging inter-African investment, and it's working very well through the FSFTA investment protocol.
If passed in its current form, goods produced from locally sourced raw materials in SEZs will be tax exempt.
That means the RDF, the import declaration, all those taxes which affect importation and exportation of goods and services.
This is expected to de-risk the market. Further, Kenya is leveraging the orange economy, including film, to attract investors amid growing demand.
So now we are not only targeting industrial investments, but we also are targeting creative economy investment into our special economic zone program. So that is what we are having a discussion with the Kenya Film Board and other players to see how we can provide a competitive environment to people who want to produce. And this is in line with one of our pillar of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda is creative economy.
It means investors operating in special economic zones within the country, sourcing their materials locally, can now, if it passes, should it pass, sell their products back to Kenya, back to the market, tax-free. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Regina, thank you for that story. Now, our focus on business segment interview today, it's all about smart logistics and keenly focusing on the transport sector, which is very crucial, especially when it comes to the growth of the economy. Joining us this afternoon is the founder and chief executive officer of Alex Loads. That is Mr. Charles Through. Charles, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, and maybe we start on that note. How is the sector faring on as we speak?
So right now, the logistics industry is starting to pick up. You know, I think since COVID, I like to say, was like the the silver lining for logistics, that's when people started paying attention, like how is our supply chain? How can we make it more resilient? So you're starting to see a lot of innovation in logistics now currently.
And maybe is that why we have seen many logistic firms such as yourself adopting smart solutions to stay awoke with the times, especially right now?
Yes, because whenever you look at, let's look at some of the challenges that affect Africa. You know, we were just covering some farmers. 50% of agricultural produce goes to waste due to poor supply chain. But also as logistics companies, the ones that are out there, you know, freight forwarders and freight brokers, the margins are razor thin, so you can't afford to any operational costs that are necessary. So by adopting technology, you know, and those efficiency tools, you're able to cut costs. That way you can operate more sustainably.
And of course, talking about some of the challenges, you do know that right now the country and the world at large is facing climate change. So how has the logistics firms adapted to such kind of situations?
So you're starting to see a lot of push in route optimization. Let's say, especially guys that do middle or last mile. So let's say if a truck has like 10 stops, like what is the most efficient route to use, right? And then another thing that we're starting to look into implementing is asset utilization. Whenever you look at a lot of fleet manager transport companies, let's say in Kenya, only use their trucks at 50 to 60% capacity. And that is from, you know, poor planning, inefficiencies in the chain. But now if we can look at eco-friendly approaches into streamlining that, we can help these transport company bring that utilization to maybe 80 to 90%. That way, reducing pollution, you know, and a lot of that is not entirely up to transportation. There's also infrastructure problems. Like you might go to the Busia or Malaba and the system is down, and now you got trucks sitting there idling for a day, and that's just unnecessary pollution. Now, but if we can put a focus on that, look at the data and use those principles, we can try to streamline these processes to remove those inefficiencies.
We've even seen not just the private sector moving to the EV vehicles, we have even seen the government trying to purchase some of them. So are we going to see in the coming future where logistics firms are using EV vehicles?
So in the context of Africa, that might take a minute because of, you know, infrastructure is a problem. You know, like these trucks will need charging stations. They will need also batteries. They will need service centers. So it might take a minute for us to get there. But then now, as the world is opening up, like we know the future is African. So even all these guys, the manufacturers, they're also looking at entering the African market. And the beautiful thing about the African market is it's a blank canvas. So you can, whenever other guys are having to build on top of other infrastructure, in Africa, you can start with a clean slate. So the adoption, I think it's a resource problem. If the resources are there, I think it's possible.
And of course, when we're looking at smart logistics solutions, what impact would it have on the consumer as well as business operators? So
the biggest holdback in logistics is inefficiencies, and those inefficiencies cascade down. Like for instance, if you look at the cost of transportation, the cost of transportation in East Africa is at least 50% higher than in developed markets. So whatever you're buying, every good that you're buying right now, 40% of that cost is due to transportation. But if you compare to like developed market, it's only 10%. So now you can see if we can make our logistics more efficient, it will be able to bring these costs down. So even if you're a manufacturer in Kenya and you're trying to export, by cutting those costs and being efficient, whenever your good gets to, let's say, Houston, Texas, or whatever, it's not too expensive that people cannot buy, which is kind of like what you're seeing right now. Like Africa makes amazing stuff, but by the time it gets to Europe, it's too expensive for anyone to buy.
And with those challenges we've just cited, how sustainable is the sector?
Right now, I mean, that's why, you know, Apex Load is here, you know, because it's a big problem. You know, you talk to a lot of these guys, there's a lot of issues where you find even transporters, let's say, taking imports to, let's say, Kampala. 50 to 70% of these guys are coming back empty. And it's not because there's no cargo from Kampala. You know, there's some connectivity issues. There's also some issues at the border whereby It's very interesting that you might find a transporter opts to come back empty so they don't get stuck at the border because of the clearing process. That way, because if you come back empty, you can go to Mombasa, pick up another load. But then, you know, basically what we're trying to do is trying to bring all these stakeholders together. You know, the transporters, even government regulators, you know, KRA, for instance, because everyone has a part to play so we can streamline the industry.
And with that in mind, I'm sure you are under an association, you have an umbrella group that you front your issues.
Yes.
So are there policies or recommendations that you have made to the current administration to solve some of these challenges facing the sector?
Yes, so like I say, Apex Load, we're part of KIFWA, and KIFWA is, you know, Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association. It's an amazing organization, and that's usually the interface between the government and the logistics industry.
Yeah.
And part of what we're pushing for is self-regulation. You know, I think KIFWA right now already has a bill in Parliament. Hopefully, whenever we implement some of this system, we can try to push this through. That way, the association can regulate itself the same way like lawyers do. You know, lawyers have their organizations where they can regulate themselves. And whenever these solutions are coming from the industry, they're much well suited for the industry problem, because you're talking about guys with 20, 30 years of experience. So they're the best, in my opinion, of course, they're the best people to come up with the solutions plaguing the industry. So now, you know, the government is doing a lot of effort, you know, pushing innovation. I know President Ruto was there in Kenya Innovation Week opening up. So the government is adopting. I think it's one of the key visions for Kenya Vision 2030, I'm sorry.
Yes.
But then we need to empower these associations so they can come up with the solutions. Yes.
Now, as we're coming to an end, just look at that particular camera, that one, and tell the viewers, especially those learners who are coming back and trying to get into this particular sector, are there jobs in the sector itself?
So, you know, one thing that I always say, like, growing up, I think we'll be brought up with the mindset of go to school so you can get a job. But I think that's a mindset that needs to change. Like, the whole point of going to school is to learn how to solve problems. And in Africa, in Kenya, we have a lot of problems, but there's also such brilliant people. Like, you have a problem that you face every day, and you're the best one to solve it. And then whenever people can start thinking in those lines, we can actually solve our own challenges.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Mr. Charles Thuo, the founder and chief executive officer of Alex Loads, talking to us about smart logistics and what the sector is currently facing and how some of the solutions can be adapted to. Thank you for making time for us this afternoon. Now we continue with our business stories, where governors from the Lake Region Economic Bloc are calling for timely disbursement of county funds in order to actualize devolution. Speaking during the 12th summit held at the Alupe University in Busia County, Siaya, Kakamega and Busia County heads highlighted projects underfunding and pending bills as some of the challenges arising from delayed disbursement of funds from the national government. However, on the part of the chair, that is Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, is appealing to the Senate to review regulations under the private-public partnership, which he says will give room for development in the devolved units.
No rain. Last year we had almost a whole ward, 40,000 people displaced.
We are looking at efficiency in the Office of the Controller of Budget. We'll continuously call out that office so that we eliminate the bureaucracies and inefficient that office to facilitate our release of funds.
We must continue to fight for the counties.
I therefore would like to appeal to the Senate, the National Assembly, and the Council of Governors to review this instrument of development called private partnership.
And now finally, welcome to the world of sports. Harambee Starlets are scheduled to play Morocco tonight in the first friendly at the Mohammed Football Complex in Morocco. Now, the team, which consists of a blend of experienced and youthful players, held their first training yesterday ahead of the match, which is in line with the international window. Striker, that is Mwana Halima Adam, and midfielder Corazon Aquino, who made the cut among others, should provide the necessary experience in the team that comprises of junior starlets, among them defenders Elizabeth Ochaka and Christine Odhiambo. Harambee Starlets last week played in the Pink Cup tournament, where they at least beat the Philippines in their final group match. They hope to improve on that performance against Morocco, whom they will play twice in the international friendlies.
Na feel poa sana because nilikuwa na hopes that kuna siku yenye ndaitwa national team moso senior, na ndio hii Mungu ameniwezeshea nimefika. Because mimi kwangu imekuwa first time, imekuwa a bit hard, but the more time imezidi kusonga, the more nimeona that naweza catch up now.
It's the first time kuitwa, nimefurahia kuitwa national team, kuja kucheza hii game mbili. Zoezi ya leo imekuwa poa. Ni kujituma tu.
Now, Nairobi City Thunder basketball team defeated South Africa's MBB 102-59 baskets in their opening match of the Basketball League Africa BAL tournament, which kicked off yesterday at the National Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi. Now, Nairobi City Thunder trailed their South African opponents 19-17 after the first period, but the Bradley IBS coach side engaged a second gear in the second quarter to bag at least 31-18. Now, elsewhere to Europe now, where Rasmus Højlund netted a brace as Manchester United beat Bodo Glimt 3-2 to hand their new draw by Roma at home to Lyon thrashed Qarabag 4-1.
Shot away, pulled back, shot comes in. Malacia, though, has been outpaced here by Zinchenko into the penalty area. They come, this could be 2-1. It is 2-1. Breakaway goal.
And those results are for the Europa League. You do know that also the UEFA Conference League is continuing. And of course, yesterday night we saw a couple of matches, and they will continue on this particular Friday, where Real Betis will also beat 2-1 to Locratis Arena. And of course, tonight it is the English Premier League. It will be back. That will be game week 13. Brighton will be opening up that particular fixture, facing off Southampton. And of course, the bigger match is the first and the second will be meeting at Anfield. That is the informed Liverpool and the struggling Manchester City on Sunday. That concludes our bulletin, but do join us in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC Online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sport, music, entertainment news, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital App in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital App.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima tutamfuga konokono.
Hawatofautishi kati ya snail na slug. Slug ni yule mnyama ambaye hana nyumba.
na huyu hatuzungumzi kumhusu, tunazungumza kuhusu snail ambaye mmemwona, ambaye ako na shell.
Kisha tuzingatie kilimo cha ndizi. Usikose kujumuika nami siku ya Jumamosi saa 10:30 upate mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Ulikuwa unataka nifanye nini?
Umefikiria aje? Mimi hata sasa sifikiri. Sometimes it's good to let the wise do the thinking. I know a doctor friend.
Hapana. No, please.
Huyu jamaa tunaweza tumfanyia first aid.
What if I'm a suspect already? Oh no. Alex! Alex! You don't just pop into someone's house just like that.
What are you hiding?
Alex!
Why are you so tensed? What are you not telling me?
God forbid.
Huyu ni mwizi huyu ni mdingo huyu.